Hi, my name is Jasmine Bass, and this is my K through 12 experience. I actually went to 4 different schools, but this school was the most impactful for me.
Okay, so I'm here at Edison Elementary. I haven't been here in about 10 years. Brings back a lot of memories. I attended Edison Elementary in 2005. Some facts about the school is that it is a preschool to fifth grade public school that's located in City Heights, San Diego, that enrolls about 500 students per year at no cost. And it is considered a GATE cluster school with a class size of about 20 to 30 students to one, which is so about 20 to 30 students per teacher. Going more into detail about my experience at Edison Elementary. So I did immigrate with my parents and my two sisters in 2003 from Oaxaca, Mexico, and I had arrived into Edison not knowing any English whatsoever. I could only speak Spanish, but I had previous preschool education. But nonetheless, I had to be tested in order to determine whether I went onto kindergarten or whether I had to repeat my preschool education at Edison. But I did well, so I was allowed to go into kindergarten at Edison Elementary, but nonetheless, I still had to take extra classes in order to learn the English language, which was a bit of a struggle for me. But the school itself was a very well-rounded, community-oriented school. There seemed to be a lot of involvement from the parents and the staff in terms of creating a fun experience for the students. And then they also hosted like free food and entertainment fundraisers. I remember the classroom looking very inviting because of all the colorful games that were displayed, and the desks were not singular, they were all conjoined into tables, and we had like a reading area and then a little mini library as well. So it was all very inviting and meant to be engaging for the students. In terms of electives, Edison didn't really give students a choice. We had a mandatory physical education class, and then we also had a music class as well, where we basically learned the basics of music and we learned to play the recorder, but nothing that gave the students the choice on what they wanted to do. My favorite grade was probably third grade because I met my favorite teacher. Her name was Miss Riquelme, and she was actually one of the GATE cluster teachers that was in charge of the GATE cluster students, onto which I was classified in after taking a test at the end of my second year at Edison. Anyway, she was my favorite teacher because she genuinely cared about her students, not only academically but also personally. She liked to establish relationship with them, and her teaching style kind of strayed away from the curriculum, which she made the parents know that she didn't really agree with the curriculum, and she rather teach her students in a liberal way. So I really liked her. She established a very deep personal connection with me, and I still keep in touch with her even after many years of having attended her class. Going on to the structure of the school itself was not very big. It was just about 2 buildings. The building on the left, which I just showed, was where the preschool and kindergarten classes were, and then on the right were all the first grade to fifth grade classes, and there was 2 playgrounds, one for the little kids, the preschool and kindergarten children, and then one for the upper level children, the first grade to fifth grade level kids. Next, I will be analyzing Edison Elementary statistics, starting with the demographics. The demographics include about 500 students, and as you can see from the bar graph, 87% are Latino, 5% are African American, 5% are Asian, and only 3% are classified as other.
The high concentration of Latin Americans at Edison Elementary could be due to the lack of resources present in the City Heights community, which Joel Spring mentions in his book, The American School. Could be due to the needs of the multicultural populations not being met, which then result into the racial segregation of communities seen as minorities in the heavily influenced Anglo-American government and education system in the United States. Due to the high concentration of Hispanic and Latin American students enrolled at Edison Elementary, Edison has an established biliteracy program that has statistics showing 57% of them are English learners, meaning that they had to acquire the English language, and only 23% of the students are reclassified as fluent in English. The lack of resources that follows the high population of Hispanic and Latin American students shows 96% of them qualifying for free or reduced lunch, meaning that they do not have to pay for breakfast or lunch, which is provided by the school. USD differs from my K-12 experience in that it is a Catholic and private institution, which I have to pay tuition to attend to, but which I've never had to do in my public education years. I've never had to pay for a meal. I've never had to pay for resources, but now I do. But yet, I guess it comes at a benefit in that I'm no longer classified into a gate or a cluster or a seminar group. I have a sense on my own sense of direction without being confined to a curriculum. It's more freedom for me in terms of the way I choose to perceive my future. Reflecting on my K-12 education, I realized just how unjust and selective the modern education system is in greatly inhibiting the growth for many individuals that stray away from this perfect American ideology. It seems that our education system is still striving to confine individuals and mold them into this American ideology of good patriotic citizenship, just as Joel Spring mentions in his The American School book. He highlights just how America's education system has a deeply segregated any multicultural framework and has shown how unjust the treatment of immigrant populations has been reflected in the modern school system. In my case, sacrificing, being a person of color and then having to sacrifice cultural identity because it's not embraced in our school system is something that I had to face. Also, Ken Robinson mentions in his TED Talk of just how influential 17th century's Anglo-American and European imperialism has been on the education system and how it hasn't yet been updated to adapt to the modern day and age in a way that is more inclusive for everyone.